But Jesus was trying to make a point. He used as the example of this wealthy man a large amount of money. He used the word for the largest amount of money that they could put together in a group. If he made the same illustration today, he'd probably start off the parable saying something like, a billionaire was going away to conduct a series of get-rich seminars. He called his 3 most trusted employees into his office and told them, I'm giving you each a check for $1 million. That would get our attention. Well, a talent got the attention of the disciples. God has given me talents. God has given each one of you talents. He trusts each and every one of us with his precious talents. He would not have given them to us otherwise. And like the talents in the Bible, they are enough that you can carry. Jesus said that the wealthy man gave to each in proportion to his own ability. The last guy, he didn't get just 1 talent because he was a bad guy or because the master didn't trust him. On the contrary, he was given this ridiculously large amount of money because he was liked and because he was a good guy. No one throws around money, not even the ridiculously rich. There's always a reason. Maybe number 3 was great at keeping his master's estate inventoried. Maybe he was the best chef west of the Tigris River. We don't know. But what we do know is that when it came to money, he just wasn't as good at it as servant number 1. But he was given a share. That's an important little gem of information. Number 3 was given a talent. Servant number 3, no matter what he thought he was good at, held a place of trust in his master's heart. A place of trust so important that his master gave him a huge sum of money. But as large as that talent was, the master did not think that it was too large for the servant. The master gave the talent to number 3 because he knew servant number 3's personal ability was enough for 1 talent. God gives just enough for you and just enough for me because he trusts us. Like the wealthy man trusted his servants with huge sums of money, God trusts us with huge potential. But it's not overwhelming. It is well within our abilities. When God gives us these talents, because he trusts us, he expects us to use them. He expects us to use the talents that he has given us. The wealthy man went away, and when he returned, he found 2 of his 3 servants had doubled the money that he had given him. The 3rd servant did nothing with his share and was told, you should have invested my money with the bankers. The master expected the servants to use the talents. As he told servant number 3, putting it on deposit with a banker would have at least drawn interest. That would have been doing something with the money. He did the equivalent of taking that check for $1 million, sliding it between the pages of a book, and putting that book back on the bookshelf. When God first started asking me this question, you remember what the question was? What are you doing with the gifts I have given you? I suspect that many of you will be hearing that question more often now, those words. When he first started asking me this, I wasn't doing much. I was coming to church, I was getting fed, I was enjoying what the church was doing for me. He'd given me several talents, but I wasn't doing much with them. I had a good church, a good job, a good family. I thought I was right where I was supposed to be. And I was, but as it turned out, I was right where I was supposed to be to begin using the talents that he gave me. So I did. I started to use my talents for him. And as I used them, as I invested my talents in his work, my talents grew. And there's another little gem of information. You can't just use your talent. God wants you to use it for him. Servants 1 and 2 did not seek to increase the money they had been given for their own use. They knew all along that the money they had been given and any money that came as an increase belonged to their master. You see, they were known to be servants of their master. If they had used even the smallest amount for their own personal use, word would have gotten back to their master, and when he came back, severe punishment would have been doled out, possibly even death. So they didn't get any part of the talents they had been given, nor the increase that they made with the talents. The master came home, and they gave him all of the talents and all of the increase. And this brings me to my third and final point. No matter what we do with our talents, God rewards us justly. Servants 1 and 2, like I said, did not get any of the money. They both gave it all back. Verses 20 and 22 say, "And he who had received the 5 talents came and brought him 5 more, saying, 'Master, you entrusted to me 5 talents. See, here I have gained 5 talents more.'" And 22, "And he also, who had the 2 talents, came forward, saying, 'Master, you entrusted 2 talents to me. Here I have gained 2 talents more.'" The Greek word translated as "here" in these 2 verses is a verb. It's an action word. The servant is not saying, "Look." The servant is saying, "I'm giving to you here. You've trusted me with your money. I've used your money to make you more money, and I'm giving it back to you. It's all yours." But the master doesn't leave them with nothing. You see, this was a test. Verses 21 and 23 both say, "You have been faithful and trustworthy over little. I will put you in charge of much." I don't know about you, but 2 times or 5 times what I can carry in gold is not a little. But to this wealthy man, 5 talents was a little. And he told servants 1 and 2 that he had given them a little bit of money. And since they were responsible with that little bit of money, he would put them in charge of much of his estate. Little and much. A huge difference between 2 little words. They are relative terms. You can't really know what one means without information about the other. It's like if I gave you the number 20. You wouldn't know if that's a relatively big number or a relatively small number because you have nothing to compare it against. But if I gave you also 1,000, 20 is a little number, 1,000 is a much number. Now think about the talents that God has given you. Whether it's a single talent or whether it's 2 or 3 talents. God has trusted you with a little. Now, I know some of your talents. Pastor Janine, in my opinion, is in my top 5 list of favorite preachers to listen to. That's a big talent. Karen Gardner can talk to deaf people. Me, I can do the "I love you" sign. That's about the ability of my signing ability. I think she has a huge talent. Debbie Hernandez can sit down with people whose lives have been racked and ruined by addictions and abuses and help them crawl out of the pit they have dug for themselves. That's an amazing talent. But they're little.